Yeah, I mean, think about how most of our entire lives have been giving our power away in a lot of ways. And think about how much we've given our power away as it relates to our diet. Every single one of us has done a crazy, silly diet. Most of us have been, I mean, there's nothing that people try and have people tell them what to do more than how much people try and have other people tell them how to eat.
Yeah,
exactly.
That is why people online are so big in nutrition and like eating, because they're like, tell me what to eat. Tell me when to eat it. Like when people do what I eat in a day is like, which are totally fine. People love those because they're like, okay, this is how I'm going to eat. Like it is very hard after your entire life to connect back to what is intuitive eating.
yes.
Yeah.
It's very hard. And I think there's that way. I think for me, mine has been like, has to be more in therapy. It has to be more therapeutic approach. I have to do a lot of untangling. I have to do a lot of like digging back into my childhood and my life and really relearn and rethink about the ways where I've been told I shouldn't nourish myself. I've been told that I don't deserve to eat or whatever the things are. And yeah, and so I'm happy that that is a trend. I don't think it's a trend. I'm happy that that is coming on board because I think it's definitely the best way to eat. But I just think that it's harder than people think. And I think a lot of people that are teaching it are people that have maybe not had that as their main issue around food and diet their whole life and are kind of teaching it as if everyone should intuitively know. But I don't think most people know how to tap into their food body intuition.
I completely agree. That is the passion behind what I recently created, the Celestial Diet, which I still haven't really shared what it is because of a lot of reasons, but I'll talk about it here. We can break some of the details here, but it's very much because people want to know, because I've been talking about it. Well, what can I eat on the Celestial Diet and what can I not eat? And I'll direct message people back and say, that's not what this is about, because you can eat whatever you want. And I'm never in the business of telling people what to eat and what not to eat. So the Celestial Diet ultimately is the most intuitive way of approaching eating, which is going to look different for everybody. So I hope that it's predominantly plant-based, that it's low in inflammatory oils, that it's alcohol-free, that we're not shoveling caffeine into our bodies. A healthy cup of coffee every day is fine. It brings me immense joy. But the Celestial Diet is something that I've found to keep my channel pure, to channel the light beings that we all love to talk about, and angels and ancestors. And I just want to help people feel good, not by telling them what to eat, but telling them how to tap back into that intuition, exactly the way that you're talking about. So if it takes like a 7-day cleanse per se of just eating really well, really pure whole foods from the earth, then that's exciting to me because I've watched people's lives transform countless times, including my own. But it's not about like, this is what you're going to eat today and this is what you're not going to eat and there's no dessert and blah, blah, blah. Because I think a healthy, intuitive lifestyle is going to look different for every single person. And that's something that we have to remember also at every stage of life.
So you, obviously from your experience, you've designed this, but then also have you like kind of channeled through aspects of what this diet looks like? And are there lifestyle components as well?
What do you think about
there's
changing the
lifestyle
word diet?
components. I know.
It's like almost like diet isn't the word.
Should we just call it the Celestial Lifestyle?
Yes, I think
Because
so.
I feel like this
You know.
has come to me a few times.
Diet, the word comes from the word
Diete?
diete, which is
Yeah, like a
means something. It means
daily...
no,
I'm making it up.
it means something.
Tell me what diete means.
Diet,
Because what I try to tell
meat,
people,
diet.
because people get really triggered by the word diet, and I don't blame them.
It means something. It's like Latin for. It's from diete, which is from the verb.
Reminds me of a dieta, which reminds me
Oh,
of
it
plant
means
medicine.
way of life.
Yes, same. A way of life. That's
Way.
See, that's what I was going to
That's
say.
interesting.
So when I go back to the root of the definition of the word diet, it's very much how a species eats, how they feed themselves, nourish themselves. That's
thought it
why
meant to die.
yeah, well, there could be. And regardless of whether it's the Celestial Diet or the Celestial Lifestyle, it is a lifestyle, and there are lifestyle components. And it has been totally channeled to answer your question. And that's why I've given it space to come through, because it keeps changing. And now I'm like, oh, there's meditations as a part of this. That's exciting. And it's much more teaching people how to awaken and heal using food as a component, but also using these lifestyle practices, meditations, like shedding spiritual weight, which is something that I'm really, really passionate about because I've watched it transform in my own bodies. And I would even say in your bodies, like, you know, not to be too forward, but like so many people that I see going through this evolve awakening period. And this could be, this is something that just happens. People's faces shapeshift. And it's not about losing weight. You could lose 20 pounds of spiritual weight and be the same weight that you are. It's like an aura thing. And I have so much compassion for the people in my community and our communities who are actually struggling with weight, who are holding on to emotional issues. And from 25 years of therapy, I do know what that feels like, and my ups and downs with food and lifestyle and anxiety. So, you know what? I think here on this podcast, you guys have convinced me this is the celestial lifestyle.
Truly.
It really is. And this is the second time this has come up this week with trusted, intuitive people. So
It's a lifestyle.
Okay, we're changing it.
I
It's
love
good.
it.
I'm excited.
Which is so funny because when I was with my first deck, I told you this, but my first deck was celestial.
Yeah.
My first deck was celestial, and then I was like, oh, that's not a fit. Like when the art when I was
Right.
like working with the art, I'm like, oh, it's not that. I was
But
like,
you
it's
know
actually
why?
not that.
It's because we channel from the same place.
Yes. Oh,
I
yes.
know we do.
Yes.
We're so similar,
But it's
yet so different in the
Yes.
most beautiful ways. But I'm not surprised at all.
I know, and
that
but it's
word.
amazing. I'm like, oh, perfect, that's yours. Like I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's your name.
It comes
like,
somewhere.
yes, literally.
The concept of big magic, you guys know that
Yes.
concept, is so real.
So real.
And the concept for anybody listening who doesn't know is ideas float between people,
Yes.
especially people who are connected and
Yes.
connected to the same life source.
Yes.
I have written outlines for fictional books that I have walked away from because of focusing on other things. And other people have written those books.
Really?
I swear. One of them is a #1 New York Times bestseller. And
Shut
I'm just
up.
like, what? Oh my God.
That's out
And
now.
Yeah. And I know the author is amazing. I noticed that you follow him too. We'll just say he's the author of The Midnight Library. He's amazing.
Oh, cool.
And,
Who is that?
I'm not, his name is Matt Haig.
Yes.
I'm not saying the idea was the same. His idea was different and it's beautiful, but the idea was so similar. And I just want to know everything about his process.
That's
Did
so
you go into the Akashic Records? Like I have so many questions because it was so similar.
Wow, that's like with
So cool.
yeah, a lot of authors. You're like, that is what the detail and specificity of what you're writing is not normal.
Right.
You know, and what you're channeling is like not normal. It's like, where is this even coming from?
It's a world in
It's
of itself.
a world.
The spiritual weight is so interesting.
Yeah.
And even like weight, or I have an experience too with skin health, and I know you do too, where I connected it so much to being able to be myself and say how I feel, because I felt like me not, quote, speaking my truth, whether it was personally or publicly, was like heat trapped in my body. And I just saw it come out in my skin. Obviously, it's so layered. It was diet, it was drinking, it was sleep, it was so many things. But I felt like that was like the missing piece that I didn't understand. And once I started to do that, I just noticed such a difference.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Morning Microdose by Almost 30.
We hope you enjoyed waking up.
As always, we encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. If you enjoyed this trip, tune into the full episode on the Almost 30 podcast. All episode information can be found in the show notes.
Make sure to subscribe, and if this becomes a part of your morning routine, be sure to share it with a friend. We have new inspiring doses Monday through Friday. Follow us on Instagram at Morning Microdose, and follow Almost 30 at Almost 30 Podcast.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the vortex.